What's happening, guys? So giving you something a little bit different today. You guys are asking for kind of full session videos, so I'm going to give you a full session video with a little bit of commentary from me. So I'm just going to talk through what I'm doing on each exercise, you know, why I'm kind of focused on it and what I've got coming up. But this session we did here is actually a kind of like a heavy lower body session. So we've got some deadlifts, some squat, etc. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I'm kicking off this session with some speed deadlifts. I like to kind of rotate between like heavy deadlifts and speed deadlifts. Just once you get kind of lifting above 400, you need to kind of rotate it, otherwise your body's going to be really screwed up. So today the load on this is 282. I'm kind of still working towards the World Deadlift Champs later in the year, with obviously my goal going over 1,000 pounds on that, so over 455 kilos. So speed pull is going to be an important part of my program on that. So on this day, you know, I was doing 8 sets of 2, with the focus on trying to pull that bar as fast as possible. Do you know what? I felt like it took me a little bit of a while to kind of get into these sets. The first couple of sets were a little bit slower than I would have liked, but things started to pick up as we went on, and we kind of started to ramp the speed up. But you know, with my speed pulls, I'm looking to still maintain that kind of perfect form. With the deadlift, I'm getting nice and tight. You know, I'm pulling the bar into me, I'm getting my lats engaged, and then I'm really accelerating that bar off the floor. So no suit on this, you know, it's just raw pulling on this. I will be using the suit for the other heavier sets on alternate weeks, but for my speed pulls, just for kind of ease and, you know, really focus on the speed of the lift, I tend to go just with my my straps and a belt, and it makes things a lot easier. You know, so a lot of people now are kind of like talking about speed reps and pulling stuff as fast as they can, and it's interesting for me because, you know, a lot of people are posting up stuff that is just not speed pulls. You need to make sure that the load is correct. You don't want to be going with too heavy a load, so I tend to go with, you know, anywhere between kind of 50 to 65% of the max I'm working towards, and just keep focusing on pulling that bar as fast as I can. Also with the doubles, you know, with the speed pulls, it allows you to kind of really focus on those reps. You're not kind of be getting a huge amount of fatigue, but I like to keep the rest period quite short on this, so I'll go off a rolling 2-minute clock. So every 2 minutes I start my pulls. I would go every minute, but I'm just not fit enough to be able to maintain that. So yeah, every 2-minute rolling clock for these speed pulls. So the 8 sets in the end were actually getting like quite a lot of work. So obviously 16 reps at 282. But yeah, as we remember, like, you know, I'm working towards a 455. So it might seem a heavy weight, but for me, it's not too heavy at the moment. And this was coming off the back of doing the 400 kilo for reps. So yeah, trying to get my body back into the swing of things with deadlifting. So another thing with the deadlift is obviously making sure that you're keeping your kind of grip really tight. You'll see I'll try and rotate my elbows to the front as I'm pulling in really tight on that bar and engaging my lats. But I'm definitely squeezing as much as I can. It's a little bit of a trick with the figure of 8 just to kind of hang on. But I'm trying to make sure that I'm bending that bar as hard as I can. Alright, so after my deadlift, I moved on to a front squat. So the front squat's a movement I haven't done for a long time. I've put it into my rotation with my lower body session. Mainly because, you know, I'm trying to help with stones a little bit more. I felt I'm a little bit kind of laboured coming out of the hole. So I started at kind of 160, just to keep it nice and light. Obviously did warm-up sets with the barbell and, you know, 70 and 120 before that. But 160 was what I saw as a first work set, and kind of focused on kind of like 2 to 3 reps on all these. So went 160 up to 180. But you know, the front squat is I haven't actually done these for like 6 years. But it was time to put it back in the rotation of my lower body exercises. I'll tend to rotate between kind of a front squat, a back squat, and a concentric squat. So that's obviously just squatting from the bottom up on my rotations. There we go, taking 200 for a ride there. And then I think I topped out at 220 today, so 220 on the bar now, which I was pretty happy with. It moved pretty well. I probably should have done the third instead of just the double, but I was happy just to get the 2 on that today. You know, it was a case of I didn't want to push things too far too soon, but gone are the days of holding a clean grip now. I'm too fat for that, so I'm having to go with a crossover position for the front squats. All right, so moving on to my posterior chain. So I'm looking at kind of doing like a stiff leg movement, and I actually, at the moment, kind of working towards that competitive season. I wanted to go towards something a little bit more specific. So I'm actually doing some kind of stone stiff leg lifts, effectively like a stiff leg deadlift, but you just do it without the stone. Using my stainless steel here, I had a bit of a mess about with the pad there. It was just getting in the way a wee bit, so I had to reset it and go again. But yeah, I'll do sets of 5 on these. I'm just focusing on squeezing the stone as much as I can. So not a heavy stone here. I've just got 90 kilos on the stainless steel. Anyone who's lifted a stainless steel knows it's a lot tougher than a normal Atlas stone. So you know, obviously no tacky, just chalk on the metal stone. But yeah, I'm looking to really kind of smash my hamstrings and glutes on this, keeping that kind of a very slight flex in the knee. I'm not going completely straight legged. Really trying to get those hamstrings working. It's going to be a big important movement for stone lifting, and everything we do is kind of picking weight off the floor. So yeah, 3 sets of 5. Kind of kept working on that and made sure that I was trying to not bring my kind of quads into it too much. I'm just focusing on my hamstrings and glutes pulling, and also trying to keep my kind of lower back out of it as much as I can, because it is dominant. Obviously from the way I tend to deadlift as well, I'm a back dominant lifter, so had to make sure that I wasn't allowing my back to take over. I was trying to get it from my hamstrings and glutes. Last rep here, I'm starting to get a little bit tired, putting some nice faces. So my last exercise I worked on now is just kind of a lower rep version of a Bulgarian split squat. So Bulgarian split squat is a single leg exercise with a back foot elevated. I don't know who actually named it Bulgarian split squat. There's always seems to be in our game people naming stuff after like Soviet countries, or former Soviet countries. You know, we've got Bulgarian split squats, Romanian deadlifts, whatever. But yeah, it's a single leg squat or a split squat with a back elevated leg. Just focusing on trying to put that weight on the front leg as much as possible. I'm just going with dumbbells here to load it instead of getting a bar on my back or anything like that. It's just a lot more comfortable for me. And I'm looking to do kind of 4 sets of 6 reps on each leg. So not very high volume today. It's more of a kind of a heavier session. I tend to do the rest of my volume for my lower body later in the week on a Thursday, along with some power exercises. We'll hopefully show that to you in another video at some point. But yeah, trying to focus on that weight going onto the front leg. Try to keep my body in a kind of a slightly forward tilted position as opposed to sitting back too far. And that way I'm just tending to spread the weight over my quads and my glutes. You know, it's important to involve some single leg exercises in your program. It's very easy to build some imbalances. I'm talking about imbalances, I'm just falling over a little bit there. But it's easy to build imbalances with exercise when you just keep going with the standard deadlift and squat. Yeah, I'm just trying here just to make sure that I'm kind of building like that single leg strength, and I'm going to be even left and right when I do it. It's amazing how much kind of like work you can get done on a single leg exercise like this, and how humbling it is of how tough it can be. You know, especially if you spend your whole time doing kind of heavy barbell squats, dropping down to do some single leg work would be really beneficial for you in your programs. I tend to do like a single leg exercise on both my lower body days just to make sure I'm hitting it both times. So that was a little insight into my my kind of heavy lower body day, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. There's a couple of different exercises you probably hadn't seen before thrown in there, but that was it. You know, that was the whole session. Obviously I warmed up this mobility beforehand, but you kept asking for a full session. There's my full session. It's nothing fancy, it's just a lot of kind of hard work and graft. So yeah, if you like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, make sure you get the updates on other videos. We're doing a few more of these if people like it, and yeah, thanks for watching.